All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. I want to give that my honors to my apostle and elders, great millstone, who teach very well. While not this truth from and salutation out there to the hopeful elect, who continue to push this word and our truth, faith, and sincerity. And on today, man, just basically getting on this digital servitude, who this guy is finna get ready to push forth. And that guy I'm talking about is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Because throughout the whole planet Earth, he's going to cause people to take a device into them. And he's already prepped the work. You know, these people, especially here in the Western Hemisphere, they are accustomed to Apple Pay, Tap Pay, accustomed to, direct deposits. They're accustomed to actually comfortability. But once these comfortable things be taken away, instead of these people looking to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua to provide, they're going to look to Esau. And again, a part of you taking that device inside you, you're basically saying Esau is your master. Now let's get that word slave, because we already know that we are living in a digital age of cell phones and things like that. And even once you get on, social media, for lack of better words, you have to obey this nigga guidelines, especially on YouTube. That's why it's a such thing as YouTube guidelines, because if you speak against this wicked society, against this wicked person, if you mistalk for the lack of better words, or misspoke or speak evil against this wicked guy, he'll demonize you, And that's going to be the same way he's going to do when this new rollout come out. And we already know over there in China, during the Crown 19, they created a thing called the social credit score. Now, the social credit score is based on how good of a slave you are. It basically separates the house niggas from the guys that's out in the field. And one thing that separate a house nigga from a guy in the field, those house niggas was accustomed to the comfortability. You get to sleep in the bed at night. You get to eat the scraps of the master's table. And it suffice, Jake. And like here today, it's going to suffice, Jake. You can get oodles and noodles, and you can get on Facebook and Instagram and social media. That's going to suffice, Jake, and they're going to risk their salvation for it. Now, real quick, let's get that word slave. That word slave, this is a person who is forced to do work for and obey another. Now, again, we all slaves, through your, your birth certificate, your social security number. You know what I'm saying? But it says obey another, and it's considered to be their property and an enslaved person. And again, we are considered Esau's property because we all got social security cards. You got a birth certificate. This nigga got track on you. But let's continue on. Let's get to this second one. It says a device or part of one, and that part of one is that beast system. Because a part of you taking a device, a tiny little device in your forehead or in your hand or wherever in your body, if you have that device inside you, that means you are part of this beast system, man. Continuing on, a device or part of one directly controlled by another. Yes. So again, you're going to be controlled by Esau Edom, especially if you got that thing in your forehead, man. Let's go ahead and get something real quick. Let's go right here to Revelation 13 and verse 16. And he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And again, that's talking about that M-A-R-K, that charagma. And again, let's go ahead and go into a couple words right here. You go into the word causal. Right here, it says to constitute or appoint one anything. Let's get that word constitute. That word constitute, just a regular Google definition. To constitute, given legal or constitutional form by an institution established by law. Because it's going to be a law one day that's going to dictate whether you can continue in the society or you're going to have to really just go off grid. Because once you even go into this beast system, it's actually circled as the Internet of Things. Now, the Internet of Things is something like a Bluetooth, a phone, a car, a television. But the ultimate form that make the internet of things go around is what? The internet of people. Because a phone is meaningless without somebody picking it up, man. A TV is meaningless unless somebody there is watching it. So the key point of this beast system that this guy is trying to integrate is what he's going to try to make the people form into this beast system. You're going to be online with the beast if you have this thing inside you, man. You know, and again, this guy, he's going to do it and carry it out by the way of a law. You know, let's go in and read this again. He says, he calls it all. So through a law, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. And that's really, you work, in this society, you really work to eat, man. You really can't enjoy your riches and things like that. So Esau, he's going to play on that. Take away your check. Instead of you having an extra couple dollars on the side, you spending a lot of that money on gas. Food is increasing. Inflation is increasing. This is a key move that this devil is doing to put the people under subjection. Because, it's either pressure make diamonds or either it's going to burst pipes, man. And a lot of people are going to be burst once they take this little device, because again, they're not used to being in an uncomfortable state. It says that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you ain't going to be able to American life unless you have this device. And people are going to yearn for that. Niggas are going to yearn to get back on Facebook. Niggas are going to yearn to get back online and play Madden. Even some niggas going to yearn just to go back to work to see his homeboy, not knowing that you just cost your salvation. Now, real quick, I have this in Exodus, the 21st chapter. It says, in the second verse, it says, if thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years shall he serve thee, in the seventh shall he go out free for nothing. Because having a slave is not wicked. When you have a slave, you're supposed to treat him, fairly well. You know what I'm saying? Depends, for the lack of better words. But if you have a slave, especially if he's an Israelite, you're supposed to deal with him in a certain way, But it's going to tell you, continuing on. And Esau know the scriptures. Esau searched out the scriptures. That's why he's making these different moves now, because he have but a short time. It says, if he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master have given him a wife, and 9 times out of 10, the woman that you're with, man, she's in an American mindset. A lot of these women is Americanized. Why? Because this is a patriot. This is not a patriot society. Even though they say the patriots. No, this is a matriarch society. This is the reason why America is catered into shopping malls and bright lights, the Statue of Liberty. And even Babylon the Great is known as a whore. So it says, if his master have given him a wife, and niggas have fell in love with this whore, fell in love with Babylon in America. It says, if his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons and daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Yes. And that's what it is. Niggas say they love America. They love this society. Ahab, it says, the word love says friends. It says to have affection for sexually or otherwise. Yes, you making love with the beast. You're making love with this whore, man. Not knowing that you're going to wake up with a disease. Because people don't know the fallout or the reaction of you having that radiation in you. You're going to have boils. Your skin is going to be flaking off. You're going to feel like your hand burning. The back of your head is going to feel like it's burning. But really, that's going to be that 6 double G coming in, man. Let's go ahead and read this again. It says, and if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Then his master shall bring him to the judges, and he shall also bring him to the door or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. And that digital awl is coming in the form of that R to the F to the I to the D, CHIP, man, that C hip. Because once And that's how you know we're under the subjection of the so-called white man too, because as soon as we start speaking out his plans, he'll hit you for medical misinformation. But again, a part of you having that little device inside you, you're basically saying that you're going to serve the so-called white man forever. Let's get another one real quick, because again, people are being seduced. You know, because he says, I love my wife and my kids. You know, you got a good job. That's basically you making love to that whore. Even Lot was doing well in Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot had it, man. Lot was doing nice. You know, that's why niggas tried to rob him and things like that. But he really left all those things behind because he knew that that place must be destroyed. And we have to be in that same mindset today. This is the book of Proverbs 7, and I'm going to jump down to verse 21. It says, with her much fair speech, she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips, she forced him. Let's get this in the NLT. So she seduced him with her pretty speech and enticed him with her flattery. And they're going to try to entice you with extra money. Niggas want a record contract so bad there. When you sign this record contract, you get the chip. You're going to have a record. You're going to be just like Fit. You want to meet LeBron James? You know what I'm saying? Niggas are so stupid and simple, especially here in this lifetime. They have been dumbed down by Babylon the Great. They're actually going to take it, not knowing that it's going to be a bigger consequence behind it. When we seen that happen with the Crown 19, when a lot of people have started getting knocked off, and even now, a lot of those dormant things that was in it is starting to react now. Let's get this, continuing on. Going back to the KJV, it says, he goeth after her straight away as an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks. Let's get that word stocks, man. Because again, it's an ultimate form of servitude. You know, a fetter, an anklet. Let's go back. And that's what it is, a correction of the stocks. And there's really the ultimate form of servitude, man. You can't go nowhere. In this spirit, they got their hands locked up, and ultimately you can't do nothing. You really in complete subjection into everyone that has the key. And Esau's going to have that key through that digital arm, that digital system, man. And he's not going to free you. You know? It's the spirit. But again, it just shows you that it's the ultimate form of servitude. And once you have this device in you, that's why it says, going back, it says, he goeth after her straight away as an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the corrections of the stocks. And that's how an ox do. Once they go into the slaughterhouse, soon as they step on their stock, the gate lock them in. And no matter how much they kick and squeal and yell, their death is already imminent. It's a nail gun waiting at the end of the line. And just like now, it's a missile wait at the end of the line. It's going to tell you. It says, till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird that hasteneth to a snare and knoweth not that it was for his life. Yeah, so people are going to take this device. And again, when you hear a bird in a snare, ultimately, what do? You put treats on it, whether it be sunflower seeds or anything, something that enticing unto them, just so you can eat. But it tells us back in Proverbs, the first chapter, that the trap is basically laid in vain and the silent anybody who see it. So we can see that this devil is finna try to create this digital system, and we warning you from it, man. But the rest of these people, they're so enticed and wrapped up with this world, they're going to take the bait, man. And that bait is going to end up leading until you getting burnt in front of the holy angels and the Lamb. Let's get this in Revelation chapter 16, and I'm going to jump down to verse 2. It says, and the first went out and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon those men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. So you're going to have a disease upon you for taking that device, but also it's going to be another thing. You already going to be hit with that radiation. You're already going to be suffering. And niggas gonna try to ignore it. But you ain't gonna be able to ignore that burning feeling inside your skin. There's gonna be a key reminder that you sold your salvation. Your skin gonna be peeling. There's gonna be a lot of adverse reactions unto it. Let's get this real quick. This is the book of Revelations 14 and verse 8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is falling, the great city, because she have made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And again, how they comparing Babylon the Great to a whore, somebody that seduce you. Continuing on, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. Yeah, so if you take that thing, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstones in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So ultimately, you're going to be destroyed before the faithful ones, the ones who stood so stiffly despite the adversities that's going to come, you know? Because again, the reason why people are going to take that device because they can't handle the adversities that's coming upon the scene. So yeah, I can just a quick little video. I pray it was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. I want to give double honors to my apostle, elders, great millstone, and Shalom.